So good evening, everybody, and welcome to our community class. So we do this every Wednesday, 6:45 p.m. And we also post it in our YouTube channel so that our other friends can participate in this community yoga session as well. So we're doing something that I like to call yoga for balance. And balance in this session will refer to two things. So first off is, of course, the balancing poses in your yoga practice. If you say that, oh, I'm not good in balancing, no worries, no one is. Standing on 2 feet is hard in itself. Balancing on one leg is a little bit more challenging. So if you fall, if you stumble a couple of times, that's perfectly fine. That's why we are here. So our idea for our yoga for balance sequence is to build up the strength for you to find a sense of stability, even for just a couple of seconds that you find that flight, that you find that stable structure in your pose. That's more than enough already. Okay? So the second one that we will refer to as balance in our practice is finding that balance between effort and ease. So anything with our lives, there should always be a balance, whether it's the food that you eat, whether it's the way that you live your life, finding a balance of work and life. So this is also something that we can incorporate in our yoga practice. So it doesn't have to be hard all the time. If you come into a yoga practice and you thought to yourself, it's so hard, then where can we shift so that it becomes a little bit easier? So the most evident would be your breath, okay? So notice how you're breathing. If your breath is, it means you're having a hard time. But if you lengthen and deepen your breath, maybe that challenging pose, maybe that difficulty that you are facing in your life becomes a little bit more bearable. Not necessarily easy, but you can go through it with a little bit more compassion, a little bit more kindness, a little bit more understanding with the situation that you are in. Okay? So we're going to explore that all in our practice for today, and we're going to make the most out of our time. Let's start off in your tabletop position. If you guys are ready, go ahead and come down onto your hands and your knees. And already here, balancing on 4 points. Notice how you feel. Maybe you sway your hips a couple of times. Maybe you move your shoulders left and right. Maybe you fidget around so that you find your stability in your pose for today. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and ensure that your joints are lined up. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, as we take your cat and cow stretch. On an in-breath, drop your belly down and tilt your chin, tailbone up to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor, hollow out your belly. We go again, please. Inhale, drop your belly down, arch the back, gaze up to the sky. And then exhale, push away from the floor, round your back. 3 more. Inhale, arch the spine, open out to your chest. Exhale, push away from the floor, hollow out your belly. Again, inhale, arch the back and look up to the sky. Exhale, push away from the floor. One last time, please. Inhale, arch the back. And exhale, round the spine. Now neutralize your back body, neither arching nor rounding your spine. We're going to extend our right leg to the back and lift your foot away from the floor. Now take a moment to see where you are putting your weight. If your body is compensating already for that missing foundation, see if you can distribute the weight between the 3 points, your hands and your knees. Draw your belly button into your spine as well so that you find that strong midline. Now when you're ready, maybe your left arm reaches forwards. And now you have just 2 points supporting you. But you are remaining strong and focused here because you have established that strong form. Inhale here. And then exhale slowly. Lower your hands and release your knees down to the ground. Massage your right hand by pressing against the back of your hand. And just reset once again, preparing for that other side. So left leg extends back, lift your foot. And take a moment here. Again, notice if you are dumping all of your weight to one side, see if you can spread out your foundations. Push actively between all points. Once you have it, go ahead and reach your right arm forwards. So this is how you balance. You take your time, you find that strong foundation so that even if there's missing links, you still feel strong. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, lower that hand and release that knee back down to the mat. Please press against your left hand, flipping your palm so that you can massage your wrist. And then release your hand back down to the floor. Now this time, let's balance in your plank. So extend your legs back, stacking your shoulders over your wrist, your heels over your toes. Relatively challenging pose. So see if you can use your breaths to calm you down. Inhale, I push with my arms. Exhale, I tighten with my belly. Inhale, I remain calm. Exhale, I breathe. One more, please. Inhale. And then exhale, lift your hips all the way up to the sky, forming an inverted V position with your body, finding your downward facing dog. Pedal out your knees, please, a couple of times just to loosen up your bodies. Maybe let your hips sway side to side. Maybe let your shoulders move forwards and back. Now from here, begin to walk your feet forwards, taking as many steps as you need. And once you arrive at the front, let your body dangle to your legs. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Just let your body feel heavy towards your thighs. Now with soft knees, begin to roll yourselves up bone by bone. And as you reach the top, go ahead and sweep your arms all the way up to the sky. Interlace your fingers and flip your palms to face up to the ceiling. Now feel that space from your hips all the way up to your arms. Take a big breath in here. And then exhale, tip over to the right. Feel that stretch on your left side body. On an in-breath, please lift back up to the center. And then exhale, tip over to the left and feel that stretch on your right side body. Inhale, come back up to the center. And then exhale, place your hands onto your waist. And take a moment to feel your stable structure here. So the bases of your feet pressing heavily to the floor. Your belly button squeezing in towards your spine. Now lean more weight towards your left foot. Lean more weight towards your left foot. And begin to hover your right foot a few inches off the mat. You can stay here or maybe lift that right knee up towards your belly. Now, it usually helps if you have something to look at. So find something unmoving that you can focus on for another 5, 4, 3. Inhale here. Exhale, extend that right leg to the back. And gently land your right tippy toes down to the floor. Bending your left knee so that you find your crescent lunge form, stacking your shoulders on top of your hips. Now, as you sink your hips down and forwards, pull your pelvic floor up and squeeze your belly in. Full expression of the pose, you begin to reach your arms up to the sky. Now, when you have that stable structure, you are able to create more shapes with your body. So maybe lean back with your upper spine. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, slowly lower your hands back down to the ground and slide your legs back into your downward facing dog. On an in-breath, ripple yourselves forwards into plank. Exhale as slowly as you can. Bend your elbows and release down to the mat. Inhale, glide your chest forwards and up as you point your toes back into your cobra, lifting to your heart. And then exhale, curl your toes and lift your hips up into that inverted V position. On an in-breath, right leg lifts up, three-legged dog. Exhale, land your right foot forwards, followed by the left, and you come into a forward fold, bow down to your legs. Reach upwards once again with your arms. Inhale to the sky. Inhale, interlace your fingers and flip your palms to face up. And let's layer in that side bend again, just stepping over to the right. Inhale, come back up to the center. Exhale, tip over to the left and see how that feels. Inhale, come back up to the center. And then exhale, lower your hands and catch your waist. Once you are there, take a moment to feel your stable structure between those 2 feet. Once you have it, lean more weight to your right and begin to lift your left heel. And then maybe, if possible, lift your left knee. Find your point of focus for 5 and 4, 3, 2, inhale here. Exhale, slowly extend that leg back and gently land your left tippy toes down to the floor, lunging that right knee as you stack your shoulders on top of your waist. Sink your hips down and forwards, but at the same time, pull your pelvic floor up and knit your ribs in. Full expression of the pose, reach your arms up. Good. And again, when you have those stable structures, you can create more shapes. So maybe lean your upper spine and see how that feels for your back body. Inhale here. Exhale, lower your hands down to the floor and slide that left leg back into your downward facing dog, that right leg back rather. Alrighty, you guys. Ripple yourselves forwards into plank. Take a big breath in, nice and slow. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower down to the ground. Inhale, lift up into your cobra, widening through your heart. And then exhale into your downward facing dog. Curl your toes and lift your hips up to the sky. Left leg rises on an in-breath, three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, land your left foot forwards in between your hands, followed by the right, and you come into a forward fold. Dive down to your legs, reach down for the mat. This time, please open your feet as wide as your mat. And you're going to bend your knees and sit deeply into a squatted position. Now, once you are there, see if you can dangle your arms down and allow your elbows to press your thighs out, widening just a little bit more through the inseams of your legs. Now, you're going to keep your right arm down, push that thigh back, and then sweep your left arm out and then up to the sky. Feel that expansion on your chest. Feel those spaces that you are creating on your body. Inhale here, please. Exhale, switch side. So left upper arm pushes your thigh out this time. And your right arm reaches all the way up to the sky. And again, see if you can open out. So maybe lean your shoulders back. Good. One more breath here. Inhale. And then as you exhale, dangle your arms down. Lift your bum up and adjust your feet closer to each other as you come into a forward fold, let your body dangle to your thighs. Now micro bend to your knees and slowly roll yourselves up bone by bone. Arms go up, inhale. Exhale, arms down by your sides. So we're gonna come into another balancing pose, but this time we're gonna layer in those open hips, okay? So let's start off. Lean more weight to your left foot. Lift your right heel up and allow your knee to point out to the side. Now you can press your foot against your left inner thigh. That's your left ankle. Or you can come up a little bit higher against your calf. Or this is your inner thigh. You can guide that foot to come all the way up towards your inner leg. Okay? So take your time to find the variation that suits your needs. Again, balance. Find that level of effort and ease. Squeeze your midline. Options for your arms. Hands can be in prayer. Or arms can reach up to the sky. Or interlace your fingers and flip your palms to face up to the ceiling. You know, the great thing about balancing is that when you fall, doesn't really matter. Just allow yourself to make mistakes, allow yourself to stumble and fall, and just keep coming back up with as much strength and power that you can harness. Find one more here. Inhale. And then as you exhale, pray your hands to your heart center. Please hang in there as you let your right knee point forwards. Inhale. Exhale, extend that leg back. Same thing as a while ago. Land your right tippy toes as you reach your arms all the way up into your crescent lunge. So you've built up that awareness already that you find strength and power here. Inhale. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Glide your foot back into your downward facing dog. Take a moment. Whatever happened is done. Start anew with your breath. On an in-breath, ripple yourselves forwards into plank. Exhale, bend your elbows. Inhale into your cobra of choice, lifting to your heart. And then exhale, curl your toes and lift your hips up to the sky. Right leg comes up, inhale. Exhale, land your foot forwards, followed by the left, and you fold, bow down to your legs. Reach upwards, inhale to the sky. And then exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Okay? So again, aren't you glad we only have two sides? So we only have to do it one more time, okay? So take a moment to lean your weight towards your right foot. Lift your left heel and let your knee turn out. You can press your foot against your ankle, more than enough. You can guide that foot a little bit higher towards your calf. You can bring that foot even higher towards your inner thigh. Higher doesn't mean better. It's just different options that different bodies can take. Now, a little bit of a tip when you're balancing in tree, you want to squeeze foot against leg and leg against foot so that you find that strong midline. Layer in your arms when you're ready. Maybe pray your hands. Maybe arms reaching up. Maybe interlace your fingers and flip your palms to face up to the sky. And again, if you fall, it's okay. It's part of your yoga journey. I remember the first time that I did a yoga class, as in I was like screaming profanities at my teacher already, just in my mind, not in actual class. But it's difficult, it's hard. Yoga isn't easy. But we find that ease with your breaths. Give me one more. Inhale. And then as you exhale, pray your hands to your heart center. And you smile because you lasted. Let your left knee point forwards. Take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, lunge that foot back. And sweep your arms up. Full expression of crescent lunge. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, lower your hands down to the floor. And glide your legs back into your downward facing dog. Ooh. Inhale, ripple yourselves forwards into plank. Exhale, bend your elbows and slowly descend down to the floor. This next back bend, please indulge. So lift your heart and stay here for a bit. Maybe look over your back shoulder or your right shoulder. And then look over to the other shoulder, whichever side you haven't looked at. And then stabilize at the center. Take a big breath in. And then exhale. Go ahead and make your way all the way down to the ground. Press yourselves up the table. And I will meet you in your seated pose. Please cross your legs in front of each other. All right, we have one last balancing pose for the day, and it's my favorite pose. I feel like you guys know this already, but we're gonna do your boat pose. So go ahead and balance on your sit bone. So again, let's break it down, okay? So you can keep your feet down and your hands underneath your thighs. Slightly lean back, and this is more than enough already. I want you to feel your belly button hugging in and your chest lifting high. Now, if you want to add a little bit more spice, you lift your feet away from the floor. If you want to add a little bit more spice, you extend your arms forwards. If you want to go for the full expression of the pose, you extend your legs up to the sky. Now, it is required that when you do your boat pose, you smile, right? Even if the boat is sinking, you smile. For another 5 and 4, hang in there. 3, 2, inhale, zipper yourselves back up. And then exhale, butterfly, bottoms of your feet touch, knees fall out to the side. Inhale, lengthen to your spine. And then exhale, come into a forward fold, bow down towards your legs. Sit. Good girl. And just let yourselves melt down into this pose, melt down into this shape. Breathe onto your legs. They did a lot for today, even for just a couple of minutes. You were able to explore already the strength that your body is capable of. Take one more breath here, please. Inhale. And exhale slowly. Roll your torso all the way upright. So we're going to finish off today with a TP twist. So please guide your knees together. And then hug your knees with your right arm. And place your left hand down onto the floor and look over your left shoulder. Now, some of you might want to stay here already, or if you want to add a little bit more traction, you can hook your elbow against your thigh. And I personally like extending that arm forwards, like I want to grab for my foot or my ankle. And then I push a little bit more with the arm, I push a little bit more with my thighs, and I rotate my spine a little bit more to the side. Nice way to decompress from all of the effort that you did. Take a big breath in here. And then exhale, slowly unwind. Let's switch sides. So hug the knees with your left arm. Right hand comes down onto the floor behind you. And again, more than enough for a twist. But if that added traction helped you, you can hook your elbow against your knee. You can let that arm extend forward like you want to grab for your ankle or your foot. And rather than just hanging out in the pose, see if you can deepen by pushing just a little bit more with your arm, your thigh, your chest, and looking over your back shoulder. Take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, slowly unwind. Please cross your legs in front of each other once again. And you're going to place one hand in front of your chest and the other hand in front of your belly. And recognize what balance means for you. Again, it could mean the physical form of balancing on one leg, on your hands, on your head, the asanas that we come into in your yoga practice. Or balance could mean finding the equal amount of effort and ease in whatever you are going through, not only in your practice, but maybe in your lives as well. And for today, just being here, present for yourselves, giving yourself the time for your health and your well-being has contributed to that balance already. We gather our prayer hands in front of our chest and we bow down in gratitude for everything that we have gained for today. Enjoy the rest of your night. Namaste.